Welcome to the Growing Tall Poppies podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Nat Green, and I'm so excited to have you join me as we discuss what it means to navigate your way through post-traumatic growth and not just survive, but to thrive after trauma. Through our podcast, we will explore ways for you to create a life filled with greater purpose, self-awareness, and a deep inner peace. Through integrating the many years of knowledge and professional experience, as well as the wisdom of those who have experienced trauma firsthand, we will combine psychology, accelerated approaches, coaching, and personal experience to assist you to learn, to grow, and to thrive. I hope to empower you to create deeper awareness and understanding and stronger connections with yourself and with others, whilst also paving the way for those who have experienced trauma and adversity to reduce their suffering and become the very best versions of themselves in order to thrive. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. Hi, Dr. Nat here, and I wanted to welcome you to this week's episode of Growing Tall Poppies, the podcast where we explore trauma, adversity, and all things post-traumatic growth, grief, resilience, and everything in between. Today's episode is a deeply personal one, and I honestly have ummed and ahed about whether to share this information or not. However, I absolutely know that this situation rarely gets spoken about, and yet it's happening to so many of us, so many people, particularly in Generation X. And I know that that is a huge part of our listener base. So today I'm going to share a deeply personal, vulnerable area of my life. And I honestly feel that this really needs to be spotlighted as more and more of us face this situation. And I do not want you to be feeling as though you're facing it alone. Today I'm talking about the weight of being part of the sandwich generation. What on earth is the sandwich generation? Some of you might ask. And to be honest, I did not know what it was either until I became part of it. And someone called it that. The sandwich generation is a space that many of us never imagined, but now find ourselves firmly wedged in. This is an episode about responsibility, grief, strength, and tenderness, about showing up, even when we feel like we're falling apart. So what on earth is the sandwich generation? The sandwich generation refers to those of us who find ourselves stretched between two generations, caring on one hand for our aging parents, while also supporting our own children, many of whom are still finding their way in early adulthood. It's a term that sounds simple enough, but living it, it's anything but. We are the ones attending medical appointments with our parents while helping our teens through high school exams and choosing university preferences, managing aged and dementia care while navigating heartbreaks, career changes, or mental health struggles with our kids, paying for medications, appointments, managing finances and aged care support, while also helping our children with rent, groceries, or therapy. We're sandwiched in the middle between love and responsibility, between holding it all together and quietly falling apart. And often we do it without asking for help because it's what's expected, because it feels like love, because we were taught to be strong, and because we generally want to give back and to honour our parents for all that they did for us. But what's rarely talked about is the emotional cost of this role. Today, I thought I'd share a bit of background and my journey to today and the reality through my own lens. And I know I'm not alone in this. I'm the eldest daughter, and that role comes with a quiet, unspoken, yet sometimes crushing inheritance. I learned early on that self-sacrifice was love and just what we did as mothers to ensure we could give the best for our kids. That being the responsible one, the reliable one, the fixer, was part of who I needed to be. So when my mum was diagnosed with cancer that had metastasised, there was no question. I moved home. I helped. I managed. I didn't just want to be there. I felt I needed to be there. It was ingrained in my bones. And I treasured every special moment with my mum. And I'm honestly so grateful for the extra time I got to spend with her. And she eventually died when I was 24. And here we are now, 31 years later, and I've lived more years without her than I actually did with her. That math breaks my heart. And that truth, when I actually take the time to go there, still has the power to stop me in my tracks. There were so many moments when I longed for her. Meeting the love of my life, getting married. And then what followed was an experience that I was not prepared for. Becoming a mother without a mother. There's no handbook for that kind of grief. No checklist for the moments when you want to pick up the phone and share a first word, a scraped knee, or later on a graduation. The grief doesn't vanish. It morphs, of course it does. It whispers in the middle of joy at times. It lingers in the spaces where she should have been. And I know that she would have adored our kids, and I know that they would have been so loved and spoiled by her. And I am so grateful for the amazing friends of my mum's who stepped up and into and owned that space of being surrogate grandmas to my kids and like mums to me. And I am so grateful for the beautiful relationships that I still have with them as they've moved into their 80s and are still shining stars and guiding lights in my life. I am so grateful. And we know that life, as it does, moves forward. And I was blessed, so lucky in that we were fortunate that my dad eventually found love again with a beautiful soul who has embraced our family with open arms. She never tried to replace Mum, but carved her own sacred space in our hearts. And she has filled that space with love and care. She became grandma to our children, and we all love her deeply. And that kind of love, the chosen kind, it's precious. And we have cherished every single moment. But life, as it does, threw another curveball. And a few years ago, we got another diagnosis that you never want to hear. Alzheimer's. She has Alzheimer's. Whew. The slow, cruel decline of the person that you love. Watching her change, watching her decline, bit by bit, has been heartbreaking. Beyond heartbreaking. There are many days where she's still great, whilst others, not quite. It's honestly, I can say it's like holding water in your hands, knowing that you can't keep it and it'll eventually trickle through. Grieving someone who's still alive, it's a different kind of heartbreak and another layer of grief to peel back. And just this week, we've heard similar news about my dad. The memory lapses, confusion, emotional outbursts, all signs point down the same path. And suddenly it's all become so very, very real. The people who raised us, who were our anchors, now really need anchoring themselves. This is the invisible weight that we carry. While we're navigating aging parents, doctors, appointments, medication schedules, we're also supporting our young adult children as they step forward into their own futures. They still need us emotionally, financially, energetically. And we want to be there for them. We are there for them. But it's possible that the weight on our shoulders grows heavier with every step. And of course, we wouldn't change it. But the toll is real. And often, our own needs are buried beneath it all. What is the true cost of the sandwich generation? We don't talk enough about the emotional toll, the sleepless nights, or the burnout that doesn't go away after a good night's sleep, if you're lucky enough to have one of them. And quiet resentment really can live alongside deep love. And guilt, oh, the guilt that we even dare to think or feel that. Guilt when we feel like we're not doing enough or doing it all wrong. The marriages that strain under the pressure, the financial strain, the friendships that fade when you just don't have the energy. The dreams we quietly shelve because there's just no time or no bandwidth. The overwhelm that doesn't disappear with a bubble bath or a walk. And yet we show up every day, every single day. Because we love them all, fiercely. And sometimes that love means breaking yourself a little, hoping that you can glue the pieces back together later. But honestly, that love doesn't mean we have to abandon ourselves. What I've learned, and let's face it, it's always a learning curve, and I continue to learn, is that strength doesn't mean martyrdom. It's okay to ask for help, to lower the bar, to feel joy and sorrow in the same breath, to grieve what was, what's changing, and what might never be. There's no perfect strategy, but here's what I've learned. What's helped me hold it together, and some days, that's not real well. But even when it's hard, here are some tips. Ask for help. You don't have to be the only strong one. Lower the bar. Some days good enough is a triumph. Hold space for your grief, past and present. Let people in. You don't need to wear the mask all the time. Talk to someone, whether it be a friend, a therapist, a coach, a group who gets it. Just talk to someone. Keep something just for you, even if it's small. In fact, especially if it's small. and acknowledge your humanity. You can love fiercely and still feel overwhelmed. If you're listening and you're carrying all of this too, I see you. You're not alone in this complicated, messy, beautiful burden called life. This episode wasn't about giving you a perfect solution. It was just about sharing the truth that love is messy, that life doesn't follow our timelines, that sometimes the strongest people are the ones silently holding up the world for everyone else. It's about grieving who your parents used to be while watching them slowly fade. For me, and I'm sure for many of you, it's been the ache of not having your own mother by your side as you mother your children. It's at times resentment and guilt wrapped together. Resentment for how heavy it feels and guilt for even feeling it in the first place. It's exhaustion, love, devotion and heartbreak living in your body all at once. If you're in the sandwich generation too, I want you to know you are allowed to grieve, to be tired, to feel joy, to feel lost and still be enough. You're doing more than you know. And your presence matters. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me share my story today. If you're in this season too, I see you. And I want you to know that you are not alone. You are doing sacred work. You're doing the impossible, loving across generations while still trying to hold on to yourself. Please be gentle with your heart. Seek support, speak up. Cry if you need to. Rest when you can. But please don't forget yourself in the process because the middle is hard. But you matter too. If this episode has touched something in you, I'd love for you to reach out, send me a message, connect with me on Instagram or Facebook, and I invite you to share it with someone who you think might need it too. We need to stick together. And as always, take gentle care of yourself. Until next time, keep growing tall. Keep shining your light, even in the hardest seasons. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me in this episode of Growing Tall Poppies. It is my deepest hope that today's episode may have inspired and empowered you to step fully into your post-traumatic growth so that you can have absolute clarity around who you are, what matters the most to you, and to assist you to release your negative emotions and regulate your nervous system so you can fully thrive. New episodes are published every Tuesday, and I hope you'll continue to join us as we explore both the strategies and the personal qualities required to fully live a life of post-traumatic growth and to thrive. So if it feels aligned to you and really resonates, then I invite you to hit subscribe, and it would mean the world to us if you could share this episode with others who you feel may benefit too. You may also find me on Instagram at Growing Tall Poppies and Facebook, Dr. Natalie Green. Remember, every moment is an opportunity to look for the lessons and to learn and increase your ability to live the life you desire and deserve. So for now, stay connected, stay inspired, stand tall like the tall poppy you are, and keep shining your light brightly in the world. Bye for now.